I'm Paul Ndiho. This week on the Africa Innovation and Technology channel, turning garbage into valuable fuel in Kenya. And later on, I will show you how to get around on a bus in one of Africa's densely populated cities, the Congolese capital, Kinshasa. Every week, we strive to bring you stories that inspire, empower, engage, and motivate young African innovators using new technology into action. Despite our technological advancements since the Industrial Revolution, cooking remains a spectacularly inefficient process. This holds true for poor and rich countries alike. While modern gas and electric cooking stoves might be more practical and produce less indoor pollution than open fires, crude stoves are used in developing countries. They are equally energy efficient. Scientists say an electric cooking stove is only half as efficient as a well-attended open fire, while a gas hob is only half as effective as a biomass rocket stove. And even though indoor air pollution is less of an issue with modern cooking stoves, research indicates that pollution levels in Western kitchens can be surprisingly high. That said, many Africans use charcoal for cooking, but the effects over the years have been disastrous for the continent's forests. I'm sure you've heard of the phrase turning lemons into lemonade. No kidding, in Kenya, an energy-saving cooking stove fueled entirely by trash is making a buzz on both the local and international scene. A revolutionary cooker invented in Kenya and powered entirely by garbage has won several international ingenuity awards. The giant stove has transformed the lives of people living in several poor communities in the East African country. Now, orders for the cooker are flowing in from abroad as far as Britain and Bali. Families used to spend hours bending over a hot smoky charcoal stove preparing their meals. The stove uses plastic bags, food cartons, cardboard boxes, old clothes, and other discarded rubbish found in slums in and around Naivasha, a market town located in Kenya's Rift Valley region. The giant furnace burns plastics and other garbage at 800 degrees centigrade, and the energy generated is then used to fuel a giant cooker. The homegrown rubbish burning stove was introduced to the community 6 months ago, and already it has helped to provide a cleaner environment and a faster, cheaper way for people to cook food.
It saves me money because I don't use paraffin. I come here with my food, I cook, and then I go home.
The stove was invented by architects at a design firm Planning System Services in Nairobi. Getting the cooker to heat the rubbish at temperatures higher enough to burn off any noxious fumes took several years to perfect. A prototype for the cooker was finally built last year, and since then the design has picked up several international innovation awards. Janice Muthai, who heads the foundation set up to run the project, says the interest it has attracted internationally has been great for the company. But persuading people that garbage can be used as a fuel is always a challenge.
We know that it's sound, and the technology is sound, and we're getting all these awards, international awards, because they really do believe in the technology. But now what we really need to do is to get the community on board. And of course we've had issues with people thinking rubbish cooking my food. I mean, my old socks could actually be making my next meal, So those are the kind of things that we've had to try and overcome, and we're still working on that.
The first people to buy into the idea were owners of a flower farm in Naivasha. The farm generates a lot of waste, and many of the workers live in nearby slums where people are often forced to live alongside piles of trash. The farm bought a cooker to help improve lives of its workers and bring the fair trade company in line with international eco-friendly standards. David Musyoka from the flower farm says it has been so transformative for his community, and that he hopes the idea will spread to other parts of the country.
If it can be built everywhere in Kenya, in each county. If we can get this, everywhere will be clean.
So far, there are 2 cookers operating in Naivasha and another one in Nairobi's Kibera slum. Environmentalists say this could potentially change the way people use the traditional means of cooking because it's cleaner and cheaper. Kenya is among the countries that are looking to develop its geothermal, wind, solar, hydroelectric power, and its homegrown fuel-efficient cook stove. Coming up right here on the Africa Innovation and Technology channel, how to get around on a bus in the Congolese capital, Kinshasa. Stay tuned. We will take a short break, but before we go, we want to know what you think about the Africa Innovation and Technology channel and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Twitter and Facebook. The address is Africa Innovations and Technology. You can also check us out at our website at www.africainnovations.net. Welcome back to the Africa Innovation and Technology channel, a show where we strive to bring you stories that inspire, empower, engage, and motivate young African innovators using new technology into action. Today, we are talking about turning garbage into valuable fuel in Kenya and how to get around on a bus in one of Africa's densely populated cities. The Congolese capital, Kinshasa, arguably has the largest population of any city in Africa, with a population of over 10 million people and ranks as its 3rd largest metropolitan area. And if you have ever been to that part of the world, you can probably relate to what I'm saying. Public transportation there is a mess. Yes, a big mess. Because the terrain and the climate of the Congo Basin present serious barriers to road and rail construction. And the distances are enormous across this vast country. Officially, there are city buses and some older buses donated by the Belgians to the Congolese people to improve their route. But this system pales in comparison to the taxi system that has risen organically to serve the needs of the people. However, there is some good news. The country is overhauling its public transportation network with a fleet of new buses. Traveling across a city with more than 10 million people can be chaotic. For years, residents in the Congolese capital Kinshasa have struggled with a poor and unreliable public transportation. Commuters often push and shove just to get onto a bus. Some even resort to climbing through the bus windows to hitch a ride.
You can see people are suffering because of transport. There are not enough buses for a big city like Kinshasa. We need the government's assistance to assist in the transport industry so that they can give us more buses to avoid difficulties so that there is a bus every 2 minutes for all the routes.
One concerned resident says commuters often have no choice but to use the old broken down yellow buses.
The buses known as 207 Spirit of Death are not roadworthy. The seats are too small and it feels cramped inside. We have risked accidents on several occasions. It is too risky to use.
But this image is about to change. The government recently introduced a new line of buses called Transco. The new Mercedes-Benz buses have a seating capacity of 55 and are much more spacious. Jack Henrico, Transco Director General, says there is a plan to expand the new initiative throughout the country.
We
will gradually increase the number of new buses, well, as many as the government wants to provide, until we reach a point where we have met all the requirements of Kinshasa's public transport system.
Transportation analysts say this is good news for millions of residents in Kinshasa who have suffered decades of conflict and neglect that virtually destroyed the nation's infrastructure.
A new mode of transport will brighten up the city, especially with the new buses, which are modern and luxurious. I have noticed that people are really happy about these new buses.
The new buses are just like a drop of water in the sea. I have been standing here for almost 30 minutes and I noticed that in those 30 minutes I have spent at the bus stop, only 3 new buses have passed by. Open your eyes, look at this road, you will see that nothing has changed. The challenges remain the same. I think that the government needs to make an effort and order new buses.
DRC has some of the world's largest copper and cobalt reserves and rich deposits of gold, coltan, tin and diamond, and the economy is expected to grow by 8% this year, brightening the nation's outlook. Investors have been deterred by poor infrastructure and institutions ravaged by decades of mismanagement and civil war. But the government maintains that it is striving to strengthen the economic governance and development by improving the country's road and transport infrastructure. To ensure the smoother transition of the new buses into service, the government has implemented a new policy.
We don't want to completely phase out the 207 buses. What we want to do, which the government has also understood, is to have in place an investment program like the one that was set up in Dakar, Senegal, that would go towards renovating public transport. Meaning a slow phasing out of these vehicles, which are rejects from Europe, and replace them with vehicles that support the needs of a city like this.
The government-run company says it hopes to have a total of 500 new buses by 2014. But critics say those numbers are unlikely to be reached because of corruption and mismanagement by the government-regulated industry. Well, on that note, do you think you have a better idea, or you have created something that everyone is talking about and you'd like to be featured on this channel? Please send us your video clips and tell us which country you're from and how your innovation is impacting your community. That's our show today. Be sure to watch the Africa Innovation and Technology channel online every weekend and on our website at www.africainnovations.net. See you next week and thanks for watching.